The Fragrance of Sacrifice. The Saga of Shantanu and Bhishma. The King's Solitude. The story begins in the golden halls of Hastinapur, a kingdom that was the jewel of the world. But for its ruler, King Shantanu, the palace felt like an empty shell. Years prior, his divine wife, the goddess Ganga, had vanished into the river, leaving him with a broken heart and their infant son, Devavrata. Shantanu raised Devavrata to be the perfect prince. The boy was a master of the Vedas and a peerless warrior, trained by the greatest masters. When Ganga finally returned the grown youth to his father, Shantanu felt a brief moment of peace. Devavrata was named the crown prince, and the people of Hastinapur rejoiced. But destiny is a restless weaver. The divine aroma on the Yamuna. One spring afternoon, Shantanu rode out to the banks of the Yamuna river. As he walked along the sandy shores, a scent caught his breath. It wasn't the smell of jasmine or sandalwood. It was a celestial fragrance, so sweet and intoxicating that it felt like a physical pull toward the water. Following the scent, he saw a young woman rowing a ferry. She was Satyavati, the daughter of the local fisherman chief, Dasharaj. She was radiant, but it was the fragrance, a blessing given to her by a sage, that truly captivated the king. Shantanu, a man who had long denied himself happiness, fell instantly and deeply in love. The clever fisherman's demand. Shantanu approached the fisherman chief, Dasharaj, to ask for Satyavati's hand. He expected a simple yes from a humble subject. However, Dasharaj was a man of cold ambition. "O king," Dasharaj said, bowing but standing firm, "my daughter is my pride. I will give her to you, but only if you grant me a boon. The son born of Satyavati must inherit the throne of Hastinapur. He must be the next king, not your eldest son, Devavrata." Shantanu was struck as if by a bolt of lightning. To agree would be to betray his brilliant, loyal son. To refuse would be to live in the agony of a love he couldn't reach. Attending the court, Prince Devavrata watched his father waste away and realized something was deeply wrong. He questioned the king's charioteer and learned of the secret encounter at the river and the fisherman's impossible demand. Without telling his father, Devavrata rode to the riverbank. He stood before Dasharaj and the elders of the fishing clan. "I am Devavrata," he declared. "I hereby renounce my right to the throne. Let my father marry your daughter, and let her children rule." But Dasharaj was still not satisfied. "You are a man of your word, prince. But what of your children? When you marry and have sons, they will claim the throne, and my daughter's lineage will be destroyed by war." The Terrible Vow, the Bhishma Pratigya. The air grew cold. The river stopped its flow as Devavrata realized the weight of what he must do. He raised his hand toward the sky and spoke words that would echo through eternity. "I have already given up the kingdom. Now, I take a second vow. From this day forth, I shall remain a celibate. I shall never marry, and I shall never father a child. I do this so that no son of mine may ever challenge the children of Satyavati." The heavens trembled. Flowers rained from the sky, and a divine voice cried out, "Bhishma! Bhishma! The one of the terrible vow." The bittersweet union. Bhishma brought Satyavati to the palace himself. Shantanu, though overjoyed to see Satyavati, was shattered when he learned the price his son had paid. In a mix of pride and grief, Shantanu granted Bhishma the boon of Ichamrityu, death at his own will. He would not die until he chose to. Satyavati became queen, and Bhishma became the grandfather of the Kuru Dynasty, a man who lived for generations, protecting a throne he could never sit on, and serving a family that would eventually tear itself apart in the great war of Kurukshetra.